We're on week 2 of this. I posted a week 1 update and showed that I was down a pound and that things were going well. Now, in the last week, things were actually going quite well for me. With what happened last week, I made a video about it if you guys want to hear my thoughts on all of that, which I'm going to have linked down below. That kind of threw me off track a little bit because it made my head flare up really, really bad. When I cry, I get really, really, really bad headaches. It's like a trigger for me. And so unfortunately, I cried quite a bit this week and it triggered my head really badly. And during those head flare-ups, I just don't feel like exercising. I did do a bunch of push-ups and stuff this week. I did do squats. I was trying to like keep active in that way. We went for a few family walks, but I did not do a lot of staying off my phone. So if we're going on challenge ways, my phone usage this week was rough. I went down to 45 minutes a day and I felt like that was really feeling good to stay off my phone, to be more present, to stop the social media addiction. And then just given what happened this week with everything that's gone on, I've spent way too much time on my phone. So week 2, phone usage, not looking good, like at all. Still eating relatively good, although I did eat 2 burgers yesterday. I did not feel good. Yesterday was one of the worst head days I've had in a long time. I have a condition called cluster headaches. I'm actually working on trying to figure out the underlying issues with like potentially like neuroplastic pain and things like that in regards to this, but I digress. We'll get into that. Really been a lot more active. And I am hopeful for this week, really getting back on track, get into a good headspace. I've been doing good in regards to eating. Like we went out to dinner the other night and instead of at this restaurant, they have so much good food that you can get. And instead of just like going and getting what I wanted to have, I ordered something called a harvest salad, 10 of 10. And then I got a banh mi bowl, which was like meat and a ton of veggies and some rice. And it was absolutely delicious. Both were 10 of 10. So this is for my breakfast. I had a piece of toast. I should have had something better for breakfast this morning, but we really don't have anything. If you don't know AG1, I assume you do. They're extremely popular and I believe for a reason. AG1 is a clinically backed daily health drink that combines multivitamin. It's got pre and probiotics, superfoods, and antioxidants into one stick pack or one scoop. AG1 Next Gen is clinically shown to support gut health and fill in like common nutrient gaps. So that's what I want it for. I obviously think it's really important to eat your nutrition in the food that you eat. Sometimes you don't get a full balanced day in, and that's where AG1 comes in for me. It's got 5 probiotic strains in it and 75 plus vitamins and minerals. AG1 Next Gen replaces the need for a daily multivitamin and probiotic. This is available in 4 different flavors. They have tropical, berry is the one I'm drinking, original, and citrus. I just do 1 scoop or 1 stick pack in the morning, and I do a little bit more water. They say 8 to 12 ounces of cold water. I like it in a little bit more water because I have such a hard time drinking water that for me, if I fill this bottle up, I will drink the entire thing. And then that gets me personally, how many ounces is this? 450 mils or like 16 fluid ounces of water. I feel really good when I drink this. It doesn't make me feel sick or nauseous like some sort of multivitamins can do for me. I'm really sensitive. I'm just one of those those people that's like highly sensitive to anything new. And I feel great when I drink this. I feel like in the wellness and holistic industry, not a lot of companies invest heavily in research about their products. AG1 goes into great lengths to continually invest in rigorous peer-reviewed research and clinical trials. They also test their formula for like hundreds of different contaminants as well to make sure that they're giving you high quality ingredients. There's probiotics and prebiotics in there that can help your gut health. They can help with immune support as well because it contains your daily dose of antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, and functional mushrooms that can help support overall immune health. If you guys are interested in checking out AG1, you guys can go to drinkag1.com/RawBeautyKristi, or you guys can scan the QR code up on the screen. You guys will get a free welcome kit when you first subscribe, which includes 5 AG1 travel packs and a bottle of vitamin D. And I thank you so much to AG1 for sponsoring today's video. It's been so nice to have something like this to add in when I'm trying to get healthy and change my lifestyle and just feel overall better and like I'm making better choices for myself every day. I've been drinking AG1 now for years. I gave a bag to my dad and now my dad is loving it. Okay, this is another thing I wanted to talk about. When you have a chronic pain condition, a really common thing that starts to happen is you start to do avoidant activities. You start to avoid certain things that you think may be contributing to that chronic pain. And then throughout your life, you become more restricted and more restricted and more restricted because you feel like those things are contributing to the pain. And there are things that I do know certainly exacerbate my symptoms or make them worse, such as like cigarette smoke. Being around it, can't be around it. It's disgusting to me and it immediately causes me to have a flare-up. Alcohol, another thing, can't drink. But then you start to avoid other things because you're like, oh, I ate that once and then I got, a headache, or I ate that and I didn't feel so good. And so I've convinced myself that eggs are that thing for me. I don't know why, because I still get cluster headaches and I do not eat eggs. I don't know why I convinced myself that eggs had anything to do with that, because I'll eat something that has eggs in it. Like, let's just do an example. Maybe it would be like a baked good, or my husband made these empanadas and in the empanada dough is egg yolk. And so I'll eat those and I'm like, those are fine. But then I won't blatantly eat an egg. And like, girl, I have 15 chickens who lay me 15 eggs a day. I should be eating eggs and I know they're healthy for you. And yet I convinced myself like a year ago that eggs are causing me a problem. Now, I'm starting to listen to things, and I'll get more into this in the future. I don't know enough about it yet to feel like I can safely talk about it without giving out misinformation, and I don't want to do that. But I've been listening to information. I bought these books, actually. I bought them over a year ago. I bought John Sarno's book, The Mind-Body Prescription. And then I bought Dr. Howard Schubiner's book. One is called Unlearn Your Pain and Unlearn Your Depression and Anxiety. And it sounds kind of crazy, but the more you look into mind-body work, the more you realize that the mind and the body are directly interlinked. And that the really good example of this would be that when you are experiencing pain, like you can experience pain that doesn't have a physical cause. And for a perfect example would be like symptoms. So I'll use the word symptoms instead of pain. So a perfect example would be you can experience symptoms from your brain that don't have a physical cause, i.e., you're gonna go on stage, you get nervous, you get diarrhea. It's a perfect example. Or like people who have phantom limb pain. They don't actually have a limb, but they can feel their hand tightening and tensing up. And sometimes something that can happen, I don't know if you guys have seen that study where the guy basically like, they have like a mirror on this side of his head and he can see that he has 2 arms. And there was like somebody that did this and it was like a phantom limb person. They felt like their hand was tensed. They didn't have a hand because their arm had been amputated like right here and they didn't have one, but they felt that their hand on that side was like almost Charlie horsing and completely tensed up. So they sat them down with a mirror like in the middle of their face and they could see their other arm that they had reflected in that mirror and they had it tensed and then they untensed it and they felt their phantom limb untense. Another example would be a man, I think he like jumped from like a scaffold or something onto the ground. And when he hit the ground, a giant nail went through the bottom of his shoe. I'm going to get this a little bit wrong, but it'll be like along the same correct, like in the same vein. So he felt a nail go through the bottom of his shoe. And he was like, oh my God, so much pain. 10 out of 10 pain. They're giving him like morphine and pain medication on the way to the hospital. And the nail is through his boot completely. And he can feel the pain. It's like absolutely excruciating pain because it went through the bottom of his foot. And so they rush him to the emergency room. They go to cut his boot off of his foot. And they realize that the nail had gone through his big toes, not through his foot whatsoever, but right in between his toes. And immediately when he saw that had not gone through his foot, the pain goes away. But not even morphine could take the pain away because he was in such distress from knowing that that nail was through his foot. But as soon as he saw that it wasn't, the pain stopped. So that shows that the brain can create pain where it doesn't even exist. Like, you know what I mean? Like pain, there is no physical reason why. And so a lot of people have discovered that they can turn off their pain with neural reprocessing. So basically, it could be caused by a physical something that happened to you, or maybe there was even an emotional thing that happened, and your brain is turning on symptoms to alert you to danger that doesn't actually exist. Like you need to teach your brain that you are safe and that you don't have to turn symptoms on for me right now. And this sounds woo-woo. I know how it sounds, but regardless of how it sounds, it's actually rooted in neuroscience. Like brain experts now know that the brain can turn on pain and the brain can turn it off, and it can give you pain where there's no physical reason for the pain. So like somebody might have degenerative disc disease in their back and they should have pain, but it hasn't turned it on for them. But for somebody else, it did turn on for them. And with the correct brain retraining, they can actually turn the pain off. And this has been seen thousands and thousands and thousands of times through so many people that had like chemical sensitivity and couldn't like walk near a Bath and Body Works without like vomiting or throwing up or getting an absolute migraine and being bedbound for days, retraining their brain that they are safe, and now they don't have chemical sensitivity anymore. And if it were an actual issue, they wouldn't be able to retrain their brain to stop the pain. And I've seen this happen with people too, like my friend Melanie Murphy. She's been doing mind-body work as well in regards to her, I don't know if it was chronic fatigue or she had, and forgive me, I'm misspeaking here, but it's relatively close. She had nerve pain and long COVID is what they said it was from, I believe. And she was experiencing like severe nerve activation pain, and she had to get on a medication called pregabalin, and it was like this big thing. She was unable to sleep, all these different things. And as soon as she started doing mind body work, like her symptoms went away, and now she can feel a flare up when something happens. And I've noticed for myself with cluster headache pain, I've been always looking for something wrong with me. I've had an MRI, I've had CT scans of my head. There is nothing physically going on with my head that would give me this much pain, like this level of pain. And I know this is kind of out there, but the brain is real. My brain, thinking that there was a threat in my life caused me to not be able to sleep without medication for a year. You guys, I was absolutely debilitated. I was so unwell that I could not sleep unless I took lorazepam, which calms down your nervous system, calms down your brain, and allows you to like just chill a little bit, like freaking relax a little. That was all brain created. Nothing actually happened. All of it was a thought that I had. And coupled with the type of person that I am, I'm the type of person that I'm highly sensitive, like highly sensitive. If I smell gas, I could convince myself that I was having like I could probably give myself a heart attack if I thought hard enough. I'm that kind of person. Like I create my own hell with just my brain. But Dr. Howard Schumacher, I listened to some of his information, and actually I emailed him back in December, and he emailed me back. What a nice person to email me back, because he's not like, a lot of people hear the word doctor and are like, oh, what is he, a chiropractor? No, he's an internal medicine specialist and pediatrician who currently practices medicine, who also understands neuroplasticity and that the brain is a part of the body. It is not separate from it. And the brain actually is what turns symptoms on and off. It is there, like the pain signal, the pain is real. It's not to say that this is in your head. You're not thinking it and therefore causing it. It is coming from your brain. So it's not all in your head. It's all in your brain. And your brain, obviously, if there is an actual physical or structural abnormality, that's not what he's talking about. He's talking about in the absence of structural abnormalities and any finding that could determine why something is there, that pain oftentimes in these circumstances is mind-body. It's just absolutely fascinating. So the more I learn about this, the more I really want to dive into this and really learn more. I tried it a lot last year, and I do feel like my cluster headaches reduced significantly, but I kind of quit working at it. I kind of quit like paying attention to it. But this can be, mind-body stuff can be like tinnitus, chronic back pain, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, cluster headaches, hemicrania continua, POTS, he even said, like things where it's like there's nothing actually physically wrong or wrong with the internal parts of your ear, let's say, or say that you have like chronic diarrhea, but your gut is fine. You know what I mean? It's not because you have an abnormality in your actual intestinal system. It's that there's something going on that's turning on symptoms in your body. They are real symptoms. The pain is real and it is measurable. It's not like, oh, you're making up the pain. That's not what the point of it all is. My cluster headaches are actually real. And when I take my injection, the injection helps bring the pain down. There's an actual physical symptom, but that for a lot of conditions, not all of them, but for a lot of conditions, they are brain created. The brain is turning on the symptoms due to a perceived threat or all kinds of different things. And so through neuroplasticity, he always talks about neurons that fire together, wire together. So if you have, fear surrounding a certain food, maybe I'll eat eggs and it will give me a flare up of a cluster headache, but eggs actually aren't flaring up my cluster headaches. It's that I thought they would. So my stress hormone goes up, my cortisol levels go up, this goes up. And then it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy almost in a way. Like if I think eggs are causing it, eggs will cause it. If I think running causes it, running will cause it. And so that is not always the case for everybody. I don't want to make it seem that way, but it is real. I can give myself a panic attack with just my thoughts. And a good way to think about it in ways that he explained is that your brain creates your thoughts, but we don't have to believe them. Just because you have a thought doesn't mean it's true, because you can think right now like, oh my God, an asteroid's coming and I'm going to die. And that wasn't true, right? But it was a thought you had, and that your brain created that thought, but it wasn't true. The same way that we don't put much stock into our dreams, and the same way that we don't put much stock into like, oh man, that was weird. I was like, it was my high school, but it like wasn't my high school, but it like was, but it like wasn't. Like my teacher was there, but like then it was weird because then my teacher turned into my boyfriend. That's just what a brain does at night. That's just firing random bits of information. The way we wake up and we're like, that was weird, carry on with our day. The same way we should sort of look at our thoughts. The same way we should look at, hey man, that was weird, that dream I had. You can also say that the same with your thoughts. Hey man, that was weird, that thought I just had. My brain did that. Anyway, moving on. We don't have to believe every thought that comes into our head. And when we start to believe those thoughts that we have come into our head, that's when it can create all kinds of problems. When I believed that I had skin cancer on my forehead and it was actually just a zit last week, and I even talked to you guys about it and put it in my thumbnail, yeah, that causes problems. It was a zit, by the way. Just washed my face a few times and it went away after being there for 6 months. Turns out not picking the zit and washing your face gets rid of it. When we have certain thoughts, something that you smell, something that you think, something that you are around is causing XYZ, you can create these problems for yourself. Now, this isn't to say that environmental things or physical things don't cause symptoms. They do too. The point is that also your brain can cause symptoms.
One of the things that Howard Schubiner talks about is that it's almost like a smoke alarm that goes off, but it's not smoke, it's steam. It's a false alarm. So these things from our brain are giving us a false alarm. So like if your smoke alarm is going off, you might be like, oh my God, okay, run, panic, run outside, there's a fire. But it went off because steam from your shower got to it. So it's not actually a fire, but the alarm went off alerting you that it was a fire. The same thing happens to our brain. Your brain might have a certain stimulus come in, or it might have a thought, or it might have a feeling or a repressed emotion or something. So it gives you a false alarm, but it was actually just steam.
And the more I'm learning about this, and this isn't like woo-woo science, this is actual neuroscience. There are people that are smarter than all of us combined out there learning that the brain is really, really, really crazy. And it can do some crazy things, like giving you pain when the nail wasn't even through your foot, but it created that pain. And I think there was something recently where They gave like they put like a rubber arm and like they like put it there or whatever, and the guy's like sitting like this, and there was like a rubber arm, and then he opens his eyes and there's like a mirror, and they smash the rubber arm with mallet, like a metal mallet, and the dude's screaming, like feeling the pain because he thought that was his arm, and it wasn't his arm. Do you know what I mean? Like, you think it is, so it is. And if your brain thinks it, like, the poor thing is just trying to be like, ow, help, help. And like, it didn't actually touch you. Nothing actually touched him, but he felt it. And so it was real, but it wasn't. You see what I'm saying? The pain he felt was real. His brain turned on pain. But as soon as he realized that's not even my arm, it can turn that same pain off. You see what I'm saying? And so that's where this can be so life-changing. So I'll have links and stuff like that down in the description. And this may be totally off for some of you. Irrelevant to me, don't care. It's so fascinating either way that people have healed themselves. People have taken their pain from 10 of 10, debilitating bedbound pain, to learning about neuroplastic pain and becoming whole members of society again, being able to get their lives back. And all they did was retrain their brain, because their symptoms were brain created. They were real though. The pain is actually real. And it's interesting because there is nothing wrong with my brain. I've had an MRI, I've had a CT, and they've never found anything structurally abnormal with me at all. It's just everything looks good. Everything looks good and everything feels bad. So yeah, very fascinating. So I find this really interesting, and I'm going to keep looking into it. If I find anything else about it, I'll obviously show you. I'm going to take his course. Well, like I said, I actually reached out to Dr. Howard Schubiner in email, and I asked him, I was like, what can I do? I need help. And he graciously did email me back, and he emailed me back a ton of resources. So I will link those down below if this is something that interests you. If you have chronic pain, or if you have, something that you are like, this doesn't make sense, what's happening? Doctors have been writing you off. Maybe it's worth looking into. If nothing else, it's just cool to learn about, but maybe it has nothing to do with you. Maybe your stuff is totally like physical. Maybe you have like an actual issue with your fascia, or you have an issue with, your muscles, or a degenerative disc disease, or something that actually is causing your pain. And maybe you don't have anything physical, but you still have the symptoms, and maybe it would be worth looking into. It's pretty cool, if nothing else, to learn that people have had success. And even if I'm not one of those people, part of it is believing that it is neuroplastic and that we can heal. And it's really hard to believe when you're somebody like me who for 15, 16 years, however long I've had this condition, like I've been in chronic daily pain and feeling like I've tried everything, and you can't believe you can get better. But I think if we can switch the mindset and the belief, then we can. I have both of Dr. Schubiner's books. Sounds like he's writing another one right now. But he also does do consultations with people, like one-on-one. And I reached out to him and I was like, how much does that cost? And it was way too expensive for me to want to do. I want to do it. I would do it today. I would sit and do the huge consultation. I want to do it, but it's so expensive. And rightfully so. I mean, he's an internal medicine specialist. Like he's a doctor, so I understand that his time is worth something. It's just so expensive that I feel like even he suggested that the free information that's out there, or like the courses that are out there, are enough. The books are enough. Like you can do it with those. You don't necessarily need one-on-one. I do feel like I could benefit from it because I am so somatic in my brain. Like I can create physical sensations with my thoughts. Like it's like the same way that people can have a panic attack. Like you're panicking, you feel like the world's coming to an end, but actually nothing happened. It was all just thoughts or physical sensations. And the combination of the two can be catastrophic, I mean, it can cause all kinds of symptoms, and we all know that, but it doesn't feel real when you think of it as real symptoms, because you're like, there's no way. But the brain and the body, the brain is a part of the body. It is not separate from it. So anyway, I'll have the information linked down below if you guys are interested, and maybe we can go through some of these like pieces together through this little challenge that we're doing on getting ourselves well, and like in multiple different ways. I think it would be fascinating if I could sit down and maybe like read some of the book to you, and like we can talk it through and kind of go through this together, because it's very fascinating, and it's going to be hard because you have to believe it. And it's like, I'm such a skeptical person in my nature that nothing feels like it could help me. But actually, the more I give in and come to acceptance with a lot of things in regards to my anxiety, with my depression, with my dissociation, all these kind of things, you start to realize fighting it was always the problem. And acceptance of it is like immediate relief to your soul, your brain, your body. So anyway, yeah, I thought it'd be fascinating. So anyway, here's how the challenge is going. And it's been all right. It's been good. I feel good about it. I feel like, really still motivated. And sometimes that motivation kind of wanes for me after a bit of time, but no, not right now. I think because I want to do it for the right reasons too. I don't want to do it just so that I can like be skinny. I'm doing it because I want to be well, and not just healthy. That's not even the word. I want to be well overall, the whole me, mind, body, and soul. So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys liked today's video, and I will see you at my next video.